Welcome to Decision Lens. Decision Lens is a prioritization and resource optimization software solution that enables organizations to make critical decisions. Driven by sophisticated analytics, Decision Lens software empowers organizations to identify those investments that will deliver the best future outcomes. In this video, we will showcase a sample portfolio to give a brief overview of Decision Lens. In this portfolio, we are prioritizing IT investments for a fictional organization. On our sensitivity analysis page, we're looking at a prioritized list of projects listed on the right. As you can see, each project is listed in prioritized order, accompanied by a value score and colored bar. In the center, we have our driving factors or criteria that we used. Next to each criterion name is a percentage, which shows the relative weight of that criterion. Let's start from the beginning to see how we get to this prioritized list in Decision Lens. In the Define section, we lay out all the information pertinent to our decision, starting with the criteria. In this sample model, the goal is to prioritize IT initiatives for modernization of our IT portfolio. Some of the criteria include degree of strategic alignment and potential for efficiencies. You'll notice that some of these criteria are clustered together. If there is one criterion that is broad enough to have subcomponents, you're able to group them together and nest them under their overarching criterion. Next, we establish our rating scales. We need to establish rating scales in order to measure the performance of our alternatives against the criterion. Rating scales can accommodate both qualitative and quantitative data. Alternatives is the name we use in Decision Lens for the projects or options that you are trying to prioritize in your decision model. In this sample, our alternatives are different IT projects. The Participants page allows portfolio owners to add users and assign them different user roles. As you can see in the sample, we have a wide range of stakeholders who are providing their input into the portfolio. Once all critical information is developed and defined, you're ready to move on to Collect, where you will gather input from your stakeholders. On the Priorities page, the portfolio owner asks participants to make paired comparisons of criteria to determine relative criteria weights. Participants compare one criterion to another and are asked which criterion is relatively more important and to what degree. Voting participants would see on their screen something like, which is most important in respect to the portfolio goal. The first criterion is listed on the left, and the second is listed on the right. Listed underneath the criterion is a scale that measures the degree of importance on each side, from equal to extreme. Each participant has the ability to input his or her own judgment. For example, one might believe that potential for efficiency is strongly more important than potential to improve end-user experience. So she would vote a 5 on the scale towards potential for efficiencies. Individuals can input their judgments at their own convenience using our desktop or mobile voting interface. Once the paired comparisons are complete, you will get a priority graph, which shows the relative weights of all the criteria based on the judgments input by the group. In the Ratings section, individuals rate each alternative against each criterion. In Decision Lens, each alternative is rated to assess the performance of that alternative on its own, as opposed to comparing the list of alternatives against each other. Voting participants read something like, rate desktop refresh with respect to support of corporate strategy. Participants are then able to input their assessments of that project against the rating scale. Participants can input their assessment at their convenience using our desktop or mobile voting interface. Once all ratings are completed, we are presented with our prioritized list. Now, we are back on the sensitivity analysis page where we began our demo. We see each project's value score, which is derived from the rating assessments and criteria weights from priorities. You can see that the colored bars next to the alternative names match the criteria colors. This is where the conversation begins. Decision Lens is a dynamic solution, meaning there are a multitude of ways to slice and dice the data to inform the ultimate decision. If there is a compelling reason to see how a shift in criteria weights might affect the prioritized outcome, it's as simple as dragging one of the criteria out towards the right and adjusting its portfolio weighting. You then see the list reorder and a column appear that indicates the change in the rank order. You can also filter the data based on participant groups or alternative categories. This is just one example that highlights the flexibility and robustness of Decision Lens. To learn more about Decision Lens, visit us at dlu.decisionlens.com.